From translation, ISV International Standard Version. This 62nd day of the year. Today we are reading passages Deuteronomy 11 to 13. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 1 to 32. You are to love the Lord your God, and always obey his statutes, regulations, and commandments. Remember today that I'm not speaking to your children, who haven't known or seen the discipline of the Lord your God, his greatness, his strong hand, and his outstretched arm. The signs and deeds he did in Egypt to Pharaoh king of Egypt, and to all his land, what he did to the Egyptian army, to their horses and chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea flow over them as they pursued you, and how the Lord has destroyed them to this day, and what he did to you in the wilderness until you came to this place. It is you yourselves who have seen all the great signs and miracles the Lord has done. Yet to this day the Lord has not given you a mind to know, eyes to see or ears to hear. So be careful to follow everything I am commanding you today. Then you will be strong and will go in and take possession of the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. If you obey all these commands I am giving you today and love the Lord your God and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will send rain on your land in its season, both autumn and spring rains, so that you may gather in your grain, new wine and oil. I will provide grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Be careful, or you will be enticed to turn away and worship other gods and bow down to them. Then the Lord's anger will burn against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that it will not rain and the ground will yield no produce, and you will soon perish from the good land the Lord is giving you. Fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds, tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Teach them to your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Write them on the doorframes of your houses and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be many in the land the Lord swore to give your ancestors, as many as the days that the heavens are above the earth. If you carefully obey all these commands I am giving you to follow, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways and to hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations before you, and you will dispossess nations larger and stronger than you. Every place where you set your foot will be yours. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon, and from the Euphrates River to the Mediterranean Sea. No one will be able to stand against you. The Lord your God will put the dread of you on the land wherever you go, just as he promised. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The curse if you disobey the commands of the Lord your God, and turn away from the way I command you today by following other gods, which you have not known. When the Lord your God has brought you into the land you are entering to possess, you are to proclaim on Mount Gerizim the blessings, and on Mount Ebal the curses. Are these mountains not on the west side of the Jordan, toward the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites living in the Arabah near Gilgal, near the Oak of Moreh? You are to cross the Jordan to go in and take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving you, and you are to possess it and live in it. Be sure to obey all the decrees and laws I am setting before you today. After the Lord your God has brought you into the land you are entering to possess, and has driven out before you many nations, the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, 7 nations larger and stronger than you, and when the Lord your God has delivered them over to you and you have defeated them, then you must destroy them completely. Make no treaty with them and show them no mercy. Do not intermarry with them. Do not give your daughters to their sons or take their daughters for your sons, for if you yield to marry them, they will turn your hearts away after their gods. Then they will be a snare to you. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 1 to 32. These are the decrees and laws you must be careful to follow as long as you live in the land the Lord your God has given you to possess. You must utterly destroy all the places where the nations you are dispossessing worship their gods, whether on high mountains, on hills, or under any spreading tree. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and burn their Asherah poles in the fire. Cut down the idols of their gods, and wipe out their names from those places. You must not worship the Lord your God in their way, but you are to seek the place the Lord your God will choose from among all your tribes to put his name there for his dwelling. To that place you must go. There bring your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, what you have vowed to give and your freewill offerings, and the firstborn of your herds and flocks. There, in the presence of the Lord your God, you and your families shall eat and rejoice in everything you have put your hand to, because the Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hands. You are not to do at the Lord your God what you have been doing at each place where you have lived, for you have not yet come to the resting place and the inheritance the Lord your God is giving you. But you will cross the Jordan and settle in the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and he will give you rest from all your enemies around you, so that you will live in safety. Then to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name, There you are to bring everything I command you, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, and all the choice possessions you vowed to the Lord. And there rejoice before the Lord your God, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites in your towns, for they have no allotment or inheritance of their own. Be careful not to sacrifice your burnt offerings anywhere you please. You must sacrifice them to the Lord your God only in the place he will choose in one of your tribes, and there observe everything I command you. Nevertheless, you may slaughter your animals in any of your towns and eat them as you would eat a gazelle or a deer. The unclean and the clean may eat of them, but you must not eat the blood, pour it out on the ground like water. You must not eat in your own towns the tithe of your grain and new wine and oil, or the firstborn of your herds and flocks, or whatever you have vowed to give, or your freewill offerings or special gifts. Instead, you are to eat them in the presence of the Lord your God at the place he will choose, you, your son and daughter, your male and female servant, and the Levite in your towns, and rejoice in all that your hands produce. Be careful not to neglect the Levites as long as you live in your land. When the Lord your God has enlarged your territory as he promised, and you say, I would like to eat meat, then you may eat as much of it as you want. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far away, you may slaughter animals from the herds and flocks the Lord has given you, as I have commanded you, and in your own towns you may eat as much of them as you want. Eat them as you would eat a gazelle or a deer. The unclean and the clean may eat of them. Be sure not to eat the blood, because the blood is the life, and you must not eat the life with the meat. You must not eat the blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. Do not eat it, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is right in the eyes of the Lord. But you must take your holy things and your vows to the place the Lord will choose. And you must offer your burnt offerings there, along with everything else you vow to give, and your fellowship offerings, for they are to be eaten there, and you shall rejoice in the presence of the Lord your God. Be careful to obey all these regulations I am giving you, so that it may always go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is good and right in the eyes of the Lord your God. The Lord your God will cut off before you the nations you are about to enter to dispossess. But when you have driven them out and settled in their land, be careful not to be ensnared by following them after they have been destroyed before you. Do not inquire about their gods, saying, how do these nations serve their gods? We will do the same. You must not worship the Lord your God in their way, because in worshipping their gods, they do all kinds of detestable things the Lord hates. They even burn their sons and daughters in the fire as sacrifices to their gods. See that I am commanding you today to follow these decrees and laws. Be careful to obey them, so that you may prosper and go in and take possession of the good land the Lord your God has given you for all time. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verses 1 to 18. If a prophet or one who foretells by dreams appears among you and announces to you a sign or wonder, and if the sign or wonder spoken of takes place, and the prophet then says, let us follow other gods, gods you have not known, and let us worship them, you must not listen to the words of that prophet or dreamer. The Lord your God is testing you to find out whether you love him with all your heart and with all your soul. It is the Lord your God you must follow, and him you must revere. Keep his commands and obey him. Serve him and hold fast to him. That prophet or dreamer must be put to death for having preached rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt and redeemed you from the land of slavery. That prophet or dreamer tried to turn you from the way the Lord your God commanded you to follow. You must purge the evil from among you. If your very own brother, or your son or daughter, or the wife you love, or your closest friend secretly entices you, saying, let us go and worship other gods, gods that neither you nor your ancestors have known, gods of the peoples around you, whether near or far from one end of the land to the other, do not yield to them or listen to them. Show them no pity, do not spare them or shield them. You must certainly put them to death. Your hand must be the first in putting them to death, and then the hands of all the people. Stone them to death, because they tried to turn you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Then all Israel will hear and be afraid, and no one among you will do such an evil thing again. If you hear it said about one of the towns the Lord your God is giving you to live in, that scoundrels from among you have led their fellow citizens astray by saying, let us go worship other gods, gods you have not known, then you must investigate it thoroughly. If it is true and it has been proved that this detestable thing has been done among you, you must certainly put to the sword all who live in that town. Destroy it completely, both its people and its livestock. Gather all the plunder of the town into the middle of the public square, and completely burn the town and all its plunder as a whole burnt offering to the Lord your God. It is to remain a ruin forever, never to be rebuilt. None of those condemned things shall be found in your hands, so that the Lord will turn from his fierce anger. He will show you mercy, have compassion on you, and increase your numbers, as he promised on oath to your ancestors, because you obey the Lord your God, keeping all his commands that I am giving you today and doing what is right in his eyes.